Welcome to the Nobody's Famous podcast.
If I can't even take care of myself, how can I take care of others?
To touch on the name, nobody's famous. That's actually true.
Stick around and join us on our journey to explore the wonderful stories of people you've never heard of.
All right, guys, we are live on the Nobody's Famous podcast. I'm with the one and the only Rami Hajj Deeb. It's a pleasure to have you. How are you feeling today?
Good, good.
Just good. I think all of us just have the same reaction nowadays.
Yeah, no.
Just good.
Yeah.
That's good. So I'm glad to have you with us on the show. It's a pleasure, and I'm doing this
Thank you.
series as a quarantine sessions, as it's very obvious. We're gonna do like a remote meeting, and I wanna showcase, how everyone's been coping with the current situation. And I wanted to start with you because you're also in one of the epicenters of this current crisis. And maybe just go ahead and introduce yourself first, and then we can take it from there.
Well, I'm originally Lebanese. I'm living in Madrid, Spain. So as you know, so it's basically the epicenter now. The epicenter of the pandemic shifted to Spain. I've been here for 7 years now, and definitely this is the toughest time that I've passed through during this year. But yeah, I mean, we're coping. We're all coping. At the end of the day, in some way or another, you don't feel like you're the only one. You know that everyone is passing through the same. Unfortunately, some people are passing through much tougher times. So, I mean, honestly, after 40 days of quarantine, most of the time I forget that there's even a virus outside. It's just becoming a normal day for me. And honestly, days are passing super quickly, even much faster than they usually go. So, yeah.
And you were just telling me earlier before we started the show, you were saying there was clapping earlier, or
what? Yeah. No, I mean, basically the thing of, I mean, a lot of countries have started doing this. I think it started in Italy. So every day at 8 p.m., everyone goes out to their balconies and they start clapping for like all medical teams.
Yeah.
Everyone that's like risking their lives to save other people's lives. Medical teams, even like janitors or cleaning personnel in hospitals, policemen, ambulances. So it's just like a way of solidarity with those people. When it first started, it was a bit shy. It was more, a few people would go outside, they would clap for like a minute, and then that's it. But since there were some videos that were appearing on social media of like people taking it to the next level with like music, so little by little, this is becoming longer than just a couple of minutes. Especially in Spain, there's this one song that they need to play after the clapping, which is called Resistiré, which like I will resist. I mean, it is emotional. It's definitely emotional, especially when you see like older people from their balconies. Even today, for example, and I think they're doing this on purpose. So police cars and ambulances, they start roaming the streets at that time with the sirens on. And they would be clapping from their cars, and then people would clap even more. I mean, it's a nice way of showing respect to all the teams and the people that are working in like tough conditions, especially here in Spain. I mean, you always hear on the news, doctors and medical staff, they are complaining they don't have enough equipment, very tough conditions. And now there are like statistics on the number of infected medical teams, even deaths from the medical staff. So, I mean, definitely they need some appreciation. They're working under very tough conditions.
And do you know anyone, let's say personally, that is in the healthcare industry, or someone who is a healthcare worker that do you know someone directly?
Directly, no. But I do know friends of friends that are working in the medical sector. And definitely, yeah, it's very, I mean, I hear stories that it's very tough. Also because in Madrid, it was like the peak in all of Spain. Madrid was the highest state because it's basically the capital. So they needed staff, medical staff from other regions that were sent here. I mean, you know, a little bit like the geography. So for example, there are medical staff that are coming from Toledo every day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's tough situations. Now it's much better because they also measure it based on the number of patients in the UCIs, in the intensive care units. Because they were like overcrowded, they were collapsing. There were people who needed intensive care units attention, but they were like basically on the floor. I mean, it's not something that any doctor or nurse or anyone would like to see. Now it's much better. Now they are coping better with the number of patients. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I wanna turn this a bit in a like a positive way. How are you spending your time during this quarantine? Have you learned any new skills? Have you done anything differently? You know, I know you like to cook, so I don't know if this is now helping you more, or have you learned something else?
Look, I mean, before we start, I mean, I came to the conclusion that us as human beings, we always find excuses to not do the stuff because we're lazy. And being in quarantine, this proved that we are just lazy. Like this started 40 days ago. And I had plans of like, yeah, I want to restart painting because I like painting. I want to register on a course online and blah, blah. Yes, I did start a few things of that, not as much as I want to, just because you always feel like, well, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. And that's plus the fact that you don't know when this is going to end. You always feel like, yeah, I still have time. I mean, I can still.
Just like normal life. I
yeah,
said
I
the
still
same
have time.
thing.
So, I mean, it's basically normal life. So we shouldn't complain anymore about time because now having all the time in the world, we still find excuses, especially exercise. I mean, everyone is doing exercise, you know, I mean, social media is like full of people showing their workouts. In 40 days, I haven't been able to work out once at home because I mean, I don't have the motivation. Like, yeah, I'll start tomorrow. I mean, it's fine. But anyway, what I've been doing is, I mean, I'm one of the lucky ones in that sense that I still can work from home. Our type of job, my type of job is not affected because it's basically something that we can do from home. It doesn't require us physically being there. So most of my time during the week, so I still have a working week. So during the week, I'm working most of the time. At night, it's just like any other night when I come back from work, I would cook something or I would watch something like a series or a movie. But apart from that, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely cooking much more because I was used before to ordering in or just eating outside. Now I'm cooking more, which is good. I did start painting again, but again, it's not.
I didn't know you used to paint.
Yeah, I used to paint. I mean, I mean, the last time I held a brush was maybe 10 years ago or more when I was in university, like my undergrad. I was in the arts club. So it was definitely tough. And again, talking about like procrastinating, when I first moved here, so 6 years ago, after the master's, I bought a painting kit. So it has a canvas, it has brushes, paint, blah, blah. I just opened it now. Now I opened it. Yeah, now I opened it and I was like, okay, let me give this a shot.
So just to put that into context, the masters that we both went to was 7 years ago now, 8 years ago now. So it's been 8 years closed.
Yeah. No, time flies. Time flies. So yeah, and that's why time is passing very quickly also during this confinement because yeah, I'm busy working the whole day. We're definitely doing much more video conferences. But yeah, during the free time, also I'm just watching series, watching some movies, cooking a lot, and mm, little more. Uh, Fortunately, now the weather is changing. It was pretty rainy for the past
Yeah.
month. Now it's becoming sunny again. So I'm taking advantage, sitting outside, getting a little bit of sun. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I think everyone can relate. It's pretty much the same. Everyone's
Yeah.
going through the same.
Yeah. I have two last questions for you.
Yeah,
So,
go ahead.
the first one is: do you agree that by the end of this quarantine, you have to have learned a new skill, or you have to have been productive during this quarantine?
I do agree with that, but I don't think people should put this pressure on themselves. Everyone is taking this quarantine in a different way. And I think a lot of companies are trying to understand this, even though people are working from home. Um, you should understand that not everyone is passing through it the same way. Some people are getting more anxiety and so on. So I don't think there should be any pressure on, yeah, I need to learn something. But I'm pretty sure that we are all going to change in a way or another. Our personalities are going to change. Our perspective of life, of things that we usually take for granted, this is definitely going to change if we like it or not. If you learn something during quarantine, that's perfect. If not, also there is no problem. Just everyone should take it at their own pace and cope the best way they can.
I think that's a great answer, Rami. Thank you.
Yeah.
The last question that I have for you, the name of our show is called the Nobody's Famous podcast, and we obviously talk about um, the concept of fame, and how it's really not what it's cut out to be. Or you might think someone might be famous to me but maybe not famous to you, or what we also question the concept or the notion of fame. Do you think this
Yeah.
current situation has challenged the fact that, okay, it doesn't matter now actually if you're famous or not, everyone is affected the same way? Do you agree with that, or what do you think about that
Yeah,
statement?
definitely. No, definitely. I mean, this is something that brought everyone to the same level. Uh, Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, but like, yeah, everyone feels that they are affected the same way. Still, as I mentioned at the very beginning, some people, due to their circumstances or their life conditions, they are suffering more. But I think this notion of fame has been more brought down to earth. So everyone can be affected, everyone can be infected, and yeah, I mean, now you see like all the attention is shifting from famous people to medical staff.
Yes.
Now, if there's a doctor that has an interview or has something to say, people are watching more attentively than a blogger or Instagrammer or even a celebrity if they have something to say. So, which is how it should be. I mean, I think we should give more attention to people who matter. It's not that celebrities don't matter; they do, but give more attention to also people that are making change in this world.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you, Rami. I think that's you hit the nail in the coffin with that one. I think, and I think we hope that this continues even after this. That we continue to listen to
definitely.
healthcare professionals, and to understand that we took a lot of their work for granted, and also teachers as well, um,
Yeah,
uh, and many other people that their work has been tested during these times.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Well, thank you for having me on this first virtual quarantine episode.
yes, it has been a
I really
pleasure.
appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, Rami. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So this is Ali signing off from the Nobody's Famous podcast. We had the one and the only Rami Hajj Deeb with us on the show. You can find us on Anghami, SoundCloud, Spotify, and you can watch this on YouTube. And I used to say, don't watch us while driving, but you're probably not driving now, so you have all the time in the world. So see you next time on the Nobody's Famous podcast.